Welcome to Firepower 360 Military, where we dive deep into the world's most advanced war machines. Alaska, a land of ice, darkness, and brutal cold. But today, it is no longer just a frozen wilderness. It is becoming the front line of the next great power conflict. In November, the United States Air Force quietly launched a major deployment of F-35 Lightning II stealth fighters to Alaska as part of a high-intensity exercise known as Arctic Gold 26-1. This was not a routine drill. This was a full-scale test of real-world Arctic warfare readiness. The mission was clear: to determine whether the 354th Fighter Wing could rapidly generate, deploy, and sustain combat aircraft in what the military officially calls a near-peer threat environment. In other words, a war against enemies as advanced as the U.S. itself. F-35A stealth jets from the 355th and 356th Fighter Squadrons took to the frozen skies, operating alongside F-16 Fighting Falcons from the 18th Fighter Interceptor Squadron. Together, they tested air combat tactics, command coordination, and survivability in one of the harshest environments on Earth. But flying in the Arctic is nothing like flying anywhere else. Extreme cold destroys electronics. Fuel behaves differently. Hydraulics freeze. Metal shrinks. Sensors glitch. And a single mistake can be fatal, not because of the enemy, but because of the environment itself. According to Air Force Master Sergeant Zachary Kugler, the amount of planning required for this exercise was enormous. Every factor that affects real-world combat operations had to be considered, from logistics to weather, from maintenance to survival. This exercise wasn't just about flying jets. It was about answering one terrifying question: if war broke out in the Arctic tomorrow, would the U.S. be ready? And the answer needed to be proven, not in simulations, but in real ice, real wind, real darkness, and real jet engines cutting through sub-zero skies. The Arctic is no longer just ice and silence. It is becoming one of the most valuable regions on the planet. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the Arctic holds over 1,600 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, around 90 billion barrels of oil, and 44 billion barrels of liquid natural gas. As global ice melts, the region's frozen wealth is being exposed, and the world is watching closely. Even more alarming, the melting Arctic is opening new global shipping routes. The Northern Sea Route, stretching from Russia to Norway and into the Pacific, could soon connect Asia directly to Europe, cutting travel times by weeks and shifting trillions of dollars in global trade. This is why every major power now has its eyes on the Arctic. The United States, Russia, China, the European Union, all preparing for influence and possibly confrontation. Russia has already militarized large parts of its Arctic territory. China openly declares itself a near-Arctic state, and NATO is rapidly increasing patrols across the high north. Lieutenant Colonel Peter Daigle, commander of the 354th Logistics Readiness Squadron, explained the true purpose behind Arctic Gold. This exercise gave us clarity. It sharpened our logistics, strengthened leadership, and ensured our squadrons can operate independently under extreme pressure. In the Arctic, logistics is warfare. Every drop of fuel, every spare part, every hour of maintenance decides whether aircraft live or die. Here, even a stealth fighter like the F-35 becomes vulnerable, not to missiles, but to the cold itself. And yet, this is exactly why the U.S. is training here. Because if a future war breaks out between superpowers, the Arctic may become the fastest route for bombers, missiles, submarines, and stealth aircraft to reach their targets. No jungles, no deserts, no oceans, only ice and silence before impact. The deployment of F-35s to Alaska is not just a drill. It is a message.